Welcome to a Creep World 4 development short. Hopefully short video where I showcase a feature or two or three that I've been working on recently. So here we have a clean, empty map, all level 1 terrain. Let's click Fractal Terrain button and make a map. Random map. And I've got a feature here called Edit Decay. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to select Flood Fill, and I will click right here to paint that the top of this mesa or butte as decayable terrain. We can choose to view that here at any time at playtime. Let's add an emitter right on top of it, and let's go check our decay settings. 10 seconds per level. That's on a single side exposure, and decay to level 1. Okay. So now, if we let the simulation run, the emitter emits just like normal, but something interesting is happening. The land is decaying, and the emitter is dropping down as it decays. Let's go to Transparent Creeper so we can watch that. Now it's decaying at a fairly hefty clip. That's because a lot of the terrain has creeper on top of it and on multiple sides of it. So down she goes. We can turn back on the decayable indicators, and we can see the terrain definitely going down. Turn that back off, transparent creeper back off, and you can see this emitter is just carving himself out a deep hole where there used to be this large plateaued flat terrain. So if this were an emission, it would be much more difficult to get that emitter potentially, or not, depending on what weapons you might employ. So let's bring up the editor again, and let's delete the emitter and delete all creeper. And just to show how this works from a side perspective, let's go to Edit Terrain. Select a height of 20. Oh, don't want to do all that. Let's turn off Flood Fill, make a new fractal terrain, and go back, and this time we will paint just a wall, and let's make it decayable. Let's flood fill that guy. Let's go ahead and flood him too to make the ends consistent. Now if we deposit some creeper, let her flow, go to 4x speed things along, you can see as the wave hits the wall, it washes over, which causes that section to decay faster because it's being decayed from at this point it was decayed from both sides and the top. The other wall just has creeper touching it on one surface, one face, and you can see the sections of the wall being torn down one level at a time. It becomes even more apparent if you turn on the decay indicators. So this has been tried. I don't know if it's been tried recently in Creeper World 3 using RPL scripting. It might have been tried in the past. I don't even know. But it will be, hopefully, if it continues to work out, a first class or an included feature within the game itself, so that it can be featured on story missions or any missions that anyone makes. So how might this work in practice? Let's go back to the main menu. I have a test mission here, and you can see here, I'll turn on decayable, how a lot is going to decay on this map. So let's just crank it up to 4x, let it play. Now while that goes, let's go to the editor, take a look at the settings. The decay level goes all the way down to 0, which is void. So this means that terrain can decay all the way down to nothingness, not just level 1, but all the way down to nothing, to void, or to background space. So as we watch that go, let's make the creeper transparent. You can see what's happening is as the creeper spreads, it's eating away, and it's going to end up isolating one half of this map from the other, except for these little tendrils of land that were left. Now I also have on this map some breeder settings, very gentle for the creeper. This allows a creeper that finds itself in the void to continue to self-propagate and allow complete eating away of all of the decayable terrain. There could be other ways to accomplish that. Some of these discrete enemies also can do it. The blobs deposit creeper, spores deposit creeper, and if they happen to land in void areas, if they were set to random, for instance, then they would eat away. Or I should say, if they land in decayable regions that can decay all the way to void, then they could eat that away. So you can see this test map, if you don't get a handle on it pretty quick, if you don't establish a base and attempt to maintain a land bridge to the other island, you're going to have some difficulty on this mission. So, one final thing in the last minute here I will leave you with. Let's go and load from file, saved mission. These settings over here on the left are for development purposes only right now. They won't be in the final game. They might be exposable in the editor, but they're here for convenience for me right now. I'm going to set this to 0. That's effectively is turning off wave damping. So waves in the Creeper Simulator will never fade out. Their energy will be conserved. And speed this up and let this run. And I have a completely flat map here that I perturbed in a couple locations in order to create some waves, and I didn't do it exactly in the middle of the map. It was a little bit off. So what you see is a fairly symmetric pattern right to left, but not perfectly. And as the simulation runs, if you let this run and you sit here and watch it for 20 minutes or 30 minutes like I did earlier today, then some very interesting patterns emerge that don't look symmetric at all. It looks like total chaos, and then suddenly things will sort of look symmetric again for a while, sort of. It's anyway, I wanted to leave you with this so that you can go Google the philosophy of mathematics and think about simulation and about why math works and why it doesn't, and how such a simple simulation, and the Creeper simulation really is quite simple. The rules of it are simple anyway. The implementation has its subtleties and difficulties, but the rules of the simulation are very simple. And when you make a simulation like that, you never imagine that patterns like this would pop out of it, or that would even be possible. But there it is. So thanks for watching.